Hello and good evening. A very warm welcome to Rangers Radio. Tonight you've been joined by myself, GB, and a wee bit of a change up back to a Tuesday night for the young team. And we've been joined by JM and Robert. How are we doing, boys? How are we getting on? Hello.
Evening, guys. How's it going? Good to be back in the old routine, the Tuesday night club.
Evening, GB. Evening, JM. Good to be back with you, boys. I'm 24 hours ahead.
I'm glad you're still there. At first, I was like, hold on a minute, have I got the nights mixed up when you're on your mutes there? Right, I'll cover yourself first, Robert. How's things, mate? Has it been a busy week? Have you been watching that Sky Sports transfer news like a demon?
Yeah, I've been keeping my eye on it, mate. It's obviously starting to heat up the last kind of 24, 30 hours to go to the window, so that's a lot still getting spoke about, and who knows who's going to come in and who even may leave in the next 24 hours. But exciting times to still be in the market this late on, to be honest with you, mate.
It is, mate. It's like I says, I was actually quite excited with the manager at the weekend saying that he was going to be right busy right up to the last minute of the transfer window, so that's a good sign for us. Just mate, obviously we won 1-0 at the weekend there. A bit of a Walter Smith performance, I think, mate. That brought back memories. That kind of performance at the weekend. We got the result, we got the 3 points, and got out of a hard place. Robert, your thoughts kind of on the first half, mate? How did you see it?
I thought we started pretty well, to be honest with you, mate, and then obviously got the goal, but after that we seemed to take our foot off the pedal a wee bit, sit back, invite St Mirren on us, and again, people will say conditions, but that's not a norm these days of these windy conditions we're playing at. But ultimately, in the end, mate, I just say it's a 1-0, a clean sheet, back to back, and 3 points on the board, and another goal for Big Cyril.
Aye, I mean, I think that's the thing. The goal came pretty early on, Robert. That's his 14 minutes, and like I says, I thought I got to admit at first I thought Dessler's touch was going to take the ball like the wrong way for him. It was going to go right into the keeper. But actually, when you're watching it back, it was a perfect touch for him. And then again, a really good finish. The big guy's starting to. I think Stevie's kind of banged the drum about him, that we've probably seen the worst of him, and now we're starting to see the best of him. And is he still the answer? Jury's still out for me, but I tell you something, as long as that boy keeps scoring goals, then he's contributing to the team. So again, it was great to see him get his goal at the weekend there.
Yeah, it was actually a good taking goal again. I know what you mean about the touch. It just seemed like it was going to be a wee bit too far out his reach to put it around the goalkeeper. Again, another good assist by John Lundstrom. Obviously done it in the Hibs game for Yilmaz, and then followed it up with the assist for Dessers at the weekend. And that's kind of what we're looking for, the ball in behind, and whether it's Dessers or Yilmaz or a midfield runner getting in behind, certainly the chances are going to come. But Dessers is coming onto a game now, and you can put it down to the whole speculation of a striker coming in or whatever, but he seemed to have just, something's clicked in the past few weeks. Possibly the winter tuning break, Clement's had a bit of one-to-one with him and got his confidence there, and he's come in and he's got important goals. I mean, if he doesn't score that goal at St Mirren, you're probably talking a 0-0 and 2 points dropped, because there wasn't too many clear-cut chances, if I'm being honest.
No, there wasn't. And one thing he's probably been criticised, Robert, is that he's not been scoring important goals. So that says, I think everybody keeps kind of probably harping back to the kind of the Celtic game where if he just finished that, it would have helped us maybe get back into the game and stuff. And at the weekend, I would say that moment was probably just as important to get us in front. I mean, because it was quite a sticky game to start with. And maybe hopefully he's turning a corner, because as you've just touched on, Robert, that was an important goal to, I don't know, just to get the momentum going and, like I say, settle the team a bit.
Yeah, it certainly did. It's always good to get that early goal, and especially away from home. We know St Mirren can be a tricky place. We've had our fair share of not so great results against them, whether it be a defeat or draw. But again, you look back at the course of a season, and you always look at the 1-0s here and there, and that could be a vital 3 points that we've picked up away from home. So long may it continue, and obviously the squad's looking pretty good. We've got good squad depth. You've even got Sterling playing on the left mid now. So it's that was a strange decision, I'll be honest. But it just shows you the confidence that Clement's got in the players, the confidence they've got in each other to go and get the result, no matter who they're up against. And certainly, if we add to the squad in the next coming day, then it can only get better from here on in.
I'm glad you brought that up with Sterling on the left. So just a kind of reminder for the folk listening in tonight. The team at the weekend was Dessers, Sterling, Cantwell, Wright, Lundstrom, Raskin, Yilmaz, Suter, Golson, Tav, and Butland. So I was kind of the eye-popping one, Robert, that it was Sterling that started kind of out in that left position. I'll just jump across to JM. JM, just your kind of thoughts, mate, in the first half at the weekend there. And again, as we're touching on, a kind of a bit of a Walter Smith performance, I think, for the team.
Yeah, 100%. A bit similar to how the Hibs game started. Wasn't pretty. Thought we were a little bit sloppy, but obviously a bit more of that would have been due to the conditions compared to the Hibs game. But like you say, probably a bit Walter Smith-esque, even though we weren't dominating, playing a nice football. I don't think the conditions allowed us to. I thought we were in control, especially Lundstrom early on in the midfield going forward. And then, yeah, touch of class from Dessers, get us in front. I never thought I'd say that out loud. But it was, nice finish and then pretty control for the rest of the half. You know, they threw a little bit. They responded okay after the goal. But, away from home, these grounds, these conditions, you're never going to get an absolute perfect display.
No, you're not. And Robert, is JM touched on there that again, St Mirren had their kind of moments, especially in the first half, and again our defence and goalkeeper stand up to it.
Yeah, I thought John Suter had a really good game in particular, to be honest, and Yilmaz continued his form as well, and obviously Golson came back into the fold from being out at the midweek, so you're getting a consistent back line, obviously hoping that Yilmaz stays and is part of that going forward, but you're getting a consistent back four, and if you could the goalkeeper, a back five, and obviously that makes the team more comfortable playing with each other, and it gets that chemistry. And certainly the way we've been playing, you can see that there's a lot more belief and confidence to play it from the back as well. Obviously Golson and Suter have got a long diagonal ball on them, but they're certainly starting to bring the ball out more, I feel, into the midfield and get the passing going as well. So it's looking good, mate. It's looking good.
You brought up Sterling, Robert. Do you think the only reason the manager maybe put him out there was to try and help protect Yilmaz at the weekend? Saying that right enough, Mithaundo was there, so it's strange that they didn't go with him. But I can only think it maybe because of St Mirren being a kind of physical team that he's put Sterling out there to try and help that left side.
Yeah, you could make an argument for protecting Yilmaz or being a bit more kind of physical up on the wings to get kind of in beside Dessers almost, because you could have had that long diagonal ball I touched on and had Sterling playing a bit closer to Dessers, so you've got the two physical boys, because St Mirren are a physical side, as we know. It did certainly raise eyebrows, particularly the fact that Matondo was on the bench there, as was McCausland as well, so it certainly raised a few eyebrows. Whether it was a message to the board, was it cryptic, who knows, or was he just thinking that Sterling is that versatile that he could do a job there, and as I say, defensively he can allow Yilmaz to be a bit more attacking, to let Sterling sit and almost go into a back three with Tavernier going up as well. So I'm sure Clement had a plan, and it certainly worked because he won the game.
Aye, definitely. I think JM. I think our manager's trying to turn Sterling into the ultimate player. He's like a FIFA player that you can play in every position.
Yeah, I think so. If I'm being perfectly honest, I think that one might be one step too far for the big man playing outside left. He's back the guy. I thought that was maybe the least comfortable when he came on. Done a lot of running and done well, but obviously from playing fullback to right fullback to left wing's completely different. I think it's purely down to Clement managing minutes for people, and he knows he can trust Sterling to do a job. I don't believe in any way he thinks Sterling's the answer at left wing or anything like that. I think, Matondo's been out with a lot of injuries as well. I think he's just trying as best as possible to manage minutes for people, and that means, like you said before, certain people going into slightly different pieces of the puzzle they normally would.
Like I just remember the Allbear and Ox talking, I think, after one of the games, saying that we've got to get this boy Sterling into the team somehow, but I didn't expect it to be on the left side in midfield.
No, not left wing. And then with the minutes as well, like you said, a bit of protection and a bit of height in there. And then I must admit, I've not disagreed with a lot the manager done, but see, when he brought Rabi on with just 5 minutes to go when they were lumping the ball in the box and we've taken off Big Sterling, I thought, oh, for God's sake. I thought I could see it written, but thankfully, so obviously, I think it just shows that he trusts everyone that's in that squad. And obviously, and I think it is still like, even at the start, he's still just trying to manage the squad quite cutely.
And Robert, we go into the end of the first half, 1-0 up, and the manager rings the changes. Now, I'm going to get both your opinions on this. After the game, obviously, the manager made it clear that it was about a tactical decision at half-time about changing it up and stuff like that. But it seems to be that this is kind of snowballed a wee bit. I'm not saying so much with the fan media, but I don't know if it's outside noise, but they seem to have just jumped on this because, it's Cantwell getting substituted. I think, for me, it was very clever with the manager that we've got a strong bench there, and he changed it up. He got the likes of Tom Lawrenson, he got McCausland on as well. So that's I think he was just looking at the bench and seeing it strong for me, Robert. And I don't see anything in the thingy that he's took Cantwell off. I think he's basically took Cantwell off to keep him fresh, because he's probably never had that opportunity to do that in the previous games, and now, because we've got a strong bench, he's able to do it. So just your thoughts on that, mate. I don't really see much in it, but it seems to be other people are making a lot about it because it's Cantwell.
No, I kind of tend to agree with yourself, mate. I don't see too much in it. I think it's more probably the timing. If it takes a player off in around about the 55th or 60th minute, you wouldn't bat an eyelid. But at half time, where it is a tight game 1-0, you will raise an eyebrow. But I don't see too much in it. And I know I said the other night that, controversially, I think Cantwell could be out in the summer. Now, that's nothing against him. I think he's a great player. I just don't think something's clicking this season. And not to forget, he did take a bit of a clatter on Wednesday night at the Hibs game into the dugout as well. So whether that was still lingering, I'm not sure. And obviously, minutes, as Jim said, managing minutes. Scott Wright obviously was on for the first half, and then McCausland came on. So it's maybe just game time, and he's calling it as it is, the way he sees it. He's not scared to take a punt on these players to go and change the game, whether it's a defensive or attacking phase. So I don't read too much into it, mate, because it is Cantwell. It could have been any player. But I thought when Tom Lawrence came on, the positions he picked up were quite good, and that's kind of the positions you want to see Cantwell in more. Higher up the park, finding that free space and creating things.
No, I agree, mate. Great. JM, your kind of thoughts, mate, is it certain people are just making a mountain out of a molehill, or is this a thing?
I kind of half agree with Robert and then half don't. I mean, let's be honest, Cantwell was barely pulling up any trees. I think if Cantwell's playing really well and dominating that game, you're not taking him off at halftime, are you? In a game, if he's running the show, he's not coming off. And if we're being honest, he wasn't. Maybe conditions or whatever, he wasn't in the game, so it makes it easier to make that change. But I do agree that part of it is to do with managing minutes and obviously getting Tom Lawrence up to speed. And he's been away out for a long time, and obviously you want that as a serious option. He could potentially become our first option there. But also, I think part of it is down to, he scored a good goal on Wednesday, but if you take 30 seconds of brilliance out of it in 90 minutes into away games, he's not really produced a lot either. I don't think it's anything personal from Clement to Cantwell, but the truth being the truth, he's not produced much in them 2 times he's been taken. Well, a great goal, obviously that's good enough, but in the 90 minutes he's produced 30 seconds of brilliance.
Aye, true. And I think, like he says, because you've got the likes of Lawrence and McCausland sitting there waiting, he's kind of probably looking to kind of like freshen up, maybe new ideas into that second half, because the first half kind of fizzled out a bit for Rangers, and again in the second half, we had again some chances, but it was a bit of a sticky game again, Robert, for the second half, and to be honest, I was quite glad to see the back of it.
Yeah, it certainly was. I think if we'd obviously got a second goal, would have killed the game there and then. But at 1-0, you're always on the edge of your seats, because it just takes a mistake or a lapse of concentration or there's say a bit of wind to change the direction of the ball. You could see how it was holding up in the air as well at set pieces. So there's a lot of factors that could have went against us, but ultimately we not going to say scraped by, but it's a 1-0 win. It could have been a lot more, as Clement said, a lot more sexy football.
Aye, that's it. It was. I think we could have been probably sitting more relaxed, in that second half. That's his. Vaughan's done some nice stuff. Dessers, it was amazing how he got his full game time, and again Raskin kind of a wee bit flattered to deceive a wee bit as well. Again, I think it was just one of the games that was just basically get in, get the 3 points, and get up the road.
Yeah, it was one of them, wasn't it? Yeah, you're right. We had a sort of, if you like, a 10, 15-minute spell in the second half when it looked like we could have nicked one, couldn't we? Lawrence picking up some good positions, which I think maybe Cantwell could learn a bit from. Sometimes less movements, more. Lawrence is kind of where your two midfielders would like your number 10 to be, wouldn't there? Whereas Cantwell seems to run about a bit. But yeah, it was a good spell, and another goal would have made it a lot more comfortable, and that might have opened up the floodgates a little more, because then they've got to push for the goal instead of hanging in there. But yeah, you're right on Raskin, and also McFadden was building bigging up Raskin a little bit. And like you, I thought it was a bit of a 50-50 game from him, but maybe they could be in there live. They could really read the conditions and see how hard it was to play.
I certainly, Jim. I think it was actually quite good. I seen I think it was the St. Mirren media. Were jumping on the Clement moaning about the pitch and stuff like that. But it was funny how their own manager came out and says that the pitch was shocking as well, Jim.
Yeah, a lot of these mediocre clubs can't seem to sort out their pitch at home, can they? There are a lot of their own managers running their own pitch in the league.
Robert, I wonder if it's is it just a thing to kind of hinder the better teams, maybe these clubs that allow their part to be like that, because you wonder why they would do it, because you'd expect your own players to have the best facilities and the best chance at an opportunity to beat the opposition, and yet you put them out to a part like that. It's a bit of disgrace.
Yeah, it is, and you can only blame so much of the weather and the months we've had. We had the winter break, so the pitch shouldn't be in the kind of condition it was. That wasn't getting played on. But as you said, the teams maybe do this so that the teams like Rangers that come and they're not able to do the fast kind of passing football on the deck. They force them to go long, and they'll aim to try and deal with that. But as you say, you want your players playing on the best pitches as well, and if you can't do that at your home stadium, then it's a bit of an eyebrow raiser.
Right, well, we've kind of had an overview of the game. There's not much really to add to it, I don't think.
Don't bother to drag that game out for 20 minutes, Jamie.
No, I don't think it's one for the DVD collection, mate. That's for sure.
Don't bother to drag that out.
But the listeners are out there. They might have a couple of things to add. So let's hear from you.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show. It's your platform. Let's hear from you.
That's it. Give us a wee call. Let's say this is your show. We want to hear your points about the weekend. That says we happy to see the team come up against a kind of opposition like that where they had to grind out the result. That says time's gone by. I've touched on it at the start of the show about how Walter Smith practically built a career sometimes after 1-0 results. And that says it'd be great to hear from your point of view, and great to hear if anybody's working in any hotels, seeing any signings that are sitting ordering salmon and stuff like that. That would be good to hear. If you've got any transfer speculation to come in with, that would be good as well. But aye, back to you boys. Robert, like I says, we get the 3 points, and like I says, we just keep notching them up, mate. Keep notching up the wins. Like I says, our manager's sitting with only one defeat as it stands now.
Yeah, certainly. That's the focus, mate. We need to focus on ourselves, and the next 4 games are at Ibrox, so it's important we do the business there at our home stadium, and a lot of points still to go. I know we've obviously cut the gap, but it's psychologically, if we're playing well and other teams are not playing so well, then that can play in the hands as well. But as long as we keep grinding and results out, it might not be the 3-4 nils. 1-0 wins are still 3 points. So as long as we're winning the games, focus on ourselves and not listen to any noise or look too far ahead. One game at a time.
Mm-hmm. And another thing I forgot to ask you, Robert, was the man of the match of the weekend for you, mate.
Probably edge with Dessers. Obviously took his goal and I thought he worked his corner pretty well. But if I was any kind of seconds, I'd probably go with John Lundstrom. I thought he kind of dominated the midfield again. So any of the two would have been my pick.
I'm glad you said Lundstrom because we've just got to jump across to JM. JM, your man of the match.
Some player Lundstrom, by the way, isn't he? He's some player. Yeah, I think 100%. But I thought overall, back four all got past marks. Obviously, not Taz, maybe best game on the ball. Yilmaz, considering he's just putting a run together again, was impressed with him. But the man of the match would have to be John Lundstrom for me. Good assist and controlled the game, didn't he? Good, if you like, stereotypical British performance in the midfield in them conditions. Something that was needed on the day.
I think so. I think if you could give it to, it probably would be Dessers because how important that goal ended up. And like I said,
yeah, and his overall play was actually pretty good as well, wasn't it? In general, his tracking down and link up where kid obviously didn't get many touches, but he wasn't maybe as wasteful as he has been in the past.
No, I think, do you know what I liked as well? See his celebration and that. He was right at the fans and stuff like that, and he was doing the bow and arrow and all that. Brilliant. I mean, and like I says, that song, his song he's getting the nice one, Cyril, is brilliant. It's funny how the Kellogg's thing came out as well at the same time. So
yeah, I know. It's good.
It seems to be the stars are aligning for him, Robert. The new Dessers, that confidence is building. Fans have got a song, and we've got Kellogg's as a sponsor now, which is brilliant.
Yeah, certainly is. And who'd have thought that Dessers would probably be in the form he's in and the kind of feeling around the fan base a few weeks ago. The jury's still out on him, as you said earlier on, but if he keeps doing what he's doing now, he's got 12 goals this season. If he keeps scoring a goal a game, he's not far away from 20, mate. And if that's what you want from a striker, bare minimum, he's going to meet that target. And as I said, he seems to be getting fitter now. That was a 90-minute performance there. Previous games, you maybe saw him coming off, so he's certainly getting fitter, and that will breed confidence as well. And as long as he's finding the back of the net, the only one thing I'll say is a wee bit more consistency. If he can add maybe 2 goals a game rather than the 1, then I think that will obviously be a bonus. But ultimately, as long as he takes the chances and puts them in the back of the net, certainly turned the fans over in the past few weeks as well.
JM, you just want to add to that, mate? Like I says, confidence seems to be building in him, and like I says, I mean, a guy that can give you maybe 15, 20 goals a season is going to help a team alongside hopefully another striker, mate.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to get a tally we've been asking for from our first choice striker from a few years now, isn't he? And obviously he's taken a lot of stick. But you can't be under any illusions because he's going for a purple patch. But, I think it's fair to say the jury's got to still be out because of his start. But one thing you can't knock is his character, is it? Because he could easily sit away and huff and take the money, couldn't he? He's employed here for another 3.5 years. He'll be on good money, but fair play to him. He's applied himself and he's not going to give up, is he?
No, definitely no. That says, and I think that's one thing about him. Like, he's been fit and available, and anytime he has came on the park, he has tried to impress. It just sometimes no came off for him. So, and I'll openly admit, I've called him a big lumpy wid. I just honestly thought the boy was just a bit of 2x2 and never got to do anything for Rangers. And that says the stats and the important goals are starting to stack up. So good luck to the lad. Robert, I think you've got a question, mate.
Yeah, just picking up when obviously we've kind of touched on Lundstrom being another standout, the back-to-back games there. So you obviously know his contract's running out. It was quite widely speculated that it was only a matter of time. Do you think that will be done this week, maybe tomorrow, given the transfer window shuts, and that kind of puts to bed the ifs, buts and maybes? And do you think it's a right choice to keep him?
I'll go first. I think the manager will want everything tidied up the more, so that once the transfer window shuts, then that's it. He's got his team, and he knows that's the team that's going to be with him for the remainder of the season, and maybe onward, obviously, in the summer and stuff like that. Because I would imagine they'll still be looking ahead to the summer, planning ahead as well. So he'll want to know who's with him and who's no. So I think Lundstram as well, even himself will want to be settled going into the remainder of the season. So I think we will see him sign a contract. I think we will see him stay. I think he'll know himself that he's not got anywhere else. He's got to get European football. He's got to have the chance of winning silverware. And to be such an important player for a club, I mean, I think if he even moved it somewhere else, he could be a bit part player. But it seems to be our manager season was quite an important part of this rebuild as it's gone on now. I think it as well would be very hard for us to go out and spend the money to replace that kind of experience in the player as it stands now. But what I will say is I think the contract, depending what they offer him, will maybe raise a few eyebrows in the support. I think if he got something like a 4-year contract, that again, like the others, I don't think there'll be too many fans happy about it. But at the end of the day, I think the player's looking for security, and probably the club are trying to secure a decent enough player to take them onwards. So I just think it's just the modern game. Unfortunately, they're not going to sign a 1-year long contract anymore. JM, your thoughts, mate?
Yeah, I think it's quite clear the manager wants him, isn't it? And if the manager wants him, you like to think he'll get him. But echo JB, I think the deal's got to be right. We're boasting about a signing and a potential couple signers coming in. That's our dynamic. We can't then fall into this trap of when he finishes his contract, he'll be a 34-year-old centre midfielder who relies on energy. You know, he's not a player in Stephen Davis's sort of class where he's going to go and run games sitting back and think that he relies a lot on energy and getting about the pitch. But I've got a feeling he'll get a contract. I'm hoping it's 3 years with an option of an extension. Because I also believe, like, he's at the end of the day, he's a professional footballer, and I think that's the minimum he's going to accept.
No,
what do you think, Robert?
I think he'll be given a contract, and for me, the length is probably the key point. As you said, if he gets a 4-year deal, it certainly raise eyebrows. For me, I would offer a 2-year deal with the option of a third, because that does give Clement a few windows to get anybody that comes in between now and then under his guideship and a fresh look midfield. And Lundstram can kind of be the experience head in amongst that, and then you've got the option of the third if you need him, but only if. And if it's not, then you're not losing too much on him by releasing his contract with a year as an option. So based on form,
do you think that's it to him? Yes or no? Would you not offer him the third? Do you think 2 years is not a? Bearing in mind he's got to think he might not get another move in 2 years' time because he will be slowing down. Is that all you would offer him? 2 years with the option of a third? You wouldn't go 3 to 4? Yeah,
two with an option for a third for me, mate. Just based on what Clement said the past few weeks about players' contracts, player trading model, but you also want to have that experienced head. And I think 2 years with Lundstram, again with that option of the third, you can certainly exercise it if you wish. But if we're in a good position, we've got a young, fresh-looking midfield, then you've got the decision to make. But I don't think if you're sitting with him with 3, it could be a player that's just a bit part player come 3 years and he's running down his contract. And it puts us in a position that we've been in before. So for me, 2 with an option.
Yeah, I like to think we'll learn and get it done quicker as well. I like to think we're at least learning by that now, and it'll hopefully, if not wrapped up tomorrow, wrapped up within the next week or 2.
Aye, I agree. I think the manager wants a settled squad, Giant. I think, especially like I says, they need full concentration for the rest of the season, because Clement seems to come across as a guy like that every detail's got to be kind of perfect, and I imagine it would annoy him if, let's say, if contract talks were rolling on and on and on, especially like maybe when he's made it clear to the player that he's quite happy for him to stay. And if it's like, I think he's touched on the other day, he says it's just a financial thing now between the club and player. So Clement's clearly made it known that he wants him to stay. So I don't think he'll definitely not want that rolling on. Robert, your thoughts, mate?
No, I think, as you say, he wants it done and dusted, and that will be the same with any player that's out of contract come the summer. Obviously, not all of them will get a contract extension. And Clement obviously touched on that he had conversations with all the players when he was in the winter break. So I'm sure that would have been the focus of the players out of contract. So he'll know what he's got But if there is anybody that he's wanting to stay and the player wants to stay, it's important we get it done and dusted so you've got that foundation, that spine of your team going forward into the summer window.
Definitely. Mate, I'm going to ask for your help. So our new signing arrived today, finally at Ibrox and that, and he was standing with the shirt and the manager for the photograph. Can you pronounce his name again, mate?
If I became the Rangers radio translator.
Yes, definitely.
Mohamed Diomande.
Diomande, right. I'm going to just go with Diomande. I'm not even going to go with the Mohamed. I'm just going to go Diomande all the time. Aye, it's good to see him in the door. A very surprising signing for me, Robert. I didn't see this in the transfer window this month. I didn't see he's going for another midfielder. And we'll touch on the left back situation as well later. But there are two positions I did not see us wanting to be messing about with. I thought it was got to be more, forward players that we would be focusing on this window.
I think, see when you sit and look at it, mate, see the centre mid, it is kind of a bit of a surprise, but at the same time, when you look at who was available, we had Dillo, who had just come back from injury, and Sterling playing kind of makeshift midfielder. The only natural one we had was John Lundstrom. And although Sterling came in and has been absolutely excellent in that position, for a natural player, you'd probably say that centre mid was actually needing a player. And this boy can play as the centre mid, a 10 as well. I think he can even play left wing back or left mid as well. So it seems very versatile, highly sought of back up in Denmark at Nordsjælland. So we'll see what happens, but it's good to get him in the door. And obviously, his first day was today.
It comes with a good league, Robert, doesn't he? He seems to be quite a hot prospect, and a decent enough league that you could turn and say that you're bringing in a guy that can play in harsh conditions and stuff like that. I mean, their weather system there is pretty much like yours, so we're not going to have to worry about them turning up to a Dundee on a Wednesday night and it's peeing rain, you mean?
No, certainly not. And also, he's close to 100 games for a young boy. It's quite impressive when you think on it. So although he's young in stature, he seems to have a lot of experience, and we've been calling out for him about a youthful player to come in. And although we want to see one through our academy or through the Scottish market, if we're bringing a boy in that's got talent and potential, then it can only make the club stronger now. But if he becomes an asset, it improves us going forward as well.
That's it, Jay. I think for what we've seen, and we will touch on kind of the speculation, but from what I'm seeing through the transfers and the people we're linked to and stuff like that, it seems to be we're buying young prospects that hopefully can be developed further and have a big sell-on fee.
Yeah, that's the idea. Unfortunately, in reason that's the kind of model we will have to go on, isn't it? We need to be making money whilst trying to find good quality that's going to help us compete in Europe and also win titles. It can't be easy. Not every sign is going to be a hit, is it? As we found out already this season, spending money doesn't guarantee success. That's for sure. But it's exciting, isn't it? It's exciting, and it also seems that at least it seems like a vision, and especially if it's the side is getting the backing of this manager. He's done nothing to make us not want to trust him yet, has he? So it's exciting to see that the manager's being backed. As you say, maybe as originally a surprise in the position, but when you look at, we're potentially looking to loan out Cifuentes, it doesn't look like he's settled. Looks like one of the left backs, more likely Barisic, is going to, at least it kind of makes sense. We're already forward planning for the players that might be leaving as well.
No. I think that, again, like you say, it seems to be that way, Robert, that it's one player out, one player in. I think the kind of Lammers thing started that. Lammers went out, and then we got Silva in. And then by the looks of it, it's going to be Cifuentes getting moved out, and we've got Diomande in. You know what I mean? So it's going to be, I think, I really hope that, we'll touch on obviously Yilmaz now, the left back, but I really hope that we're not going to lose him, because I think the boy's coming on a bit of form, but I do think that the manager has probably looked at that area of defence and says that it is a weakness to Rangers, and especially if we've got to go into says European competition, maybe even just the Scottish League in general, because it's such a kind of rough league, that he's probably noticing that it's something that we kind of need to strengthen in.
Yeah, and it's fair to say as well that Yilmaz and Barisic have had their injury troubles as well between the two of them, so he's maybe addressed and looked at that situation as well, that he doesn't want to fling a young player in a big game, like you say, whether it be Europe or a high-profile cup game or anything. So the manager's clearly done his homework on these players that come in. I don't think any of them are panic signings. It seems very well thought out. They're all of the kind of young 20 years of age bracket that certainly excites us as fans to see a bit of youth come in. And I know, again, it's going to the foreign markets, but if these players are coming with expectation and a kind of a potential to reach a high peak in their career, then Rangers is a great platform for them. You've got the league, you've got the European football, and again, it's you win that league this season, you're straight into the Champions League, and there's not many young players that can say they've joined a club and went straight into that. So I know a lot of the talk, the players coming in, is loans with options to buy. So it's down to them as players to show what they can do between now and the end of the season. And if the finances are there and they improve our squad, then again, we'll have the conversation in the summer. Do we spend the cash on them? Because it is a lot of money that's getting talked about as well, becoming in the summer. But in terms of Yilmaz, I'd like to see him not go. I think he has come onto a game recently, so I think it's been a bit unfair. He's not had that great run, and as soon as he's getting the run now, getting performances, it could be time up in his Rangers career. But I hope not. I hope I'm not.
I think that's the thing. I think now even Yilmaz is starting to get the vibe of Rangers. I mean, you see him when he scored his goal and stuff like that. You see how he's reacted with his teammates, and he's even been in the interviews and stuff like that at the end of the games. He's been giving his thoughts on the games and that. So, like, for months and months, like you said, you never heard an interview off him, and you just thought that he was homesick all the time. But he seems to have got a bit of the Rangers vibe again, and I says it's a bit frustrating that we've got him gone now, and then it's a possibility that we're going to have to sell him to fund what we want to do in January.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what the case in that, if that's the exact case or what, but it just shows you what playing football that can do. The guy's obviously enjoying himself, excuse me, playing with a smile on his face and putting in some good performances. And, you know, again, we've got to be sensible at the right time. Maybe if he doesn't go in January, but if he strings together a good run to the season, you know, his value could go up. We've got to look at that option as well. And then the other thing is, obviously, the big attraction is if we do win this league, they've got guaranteed groups of 8, so working that out, a lot more games of Champions League football anyways to play. So that's an advert for us as well, isn't it?
I think you and Robert touched on a right good point with that, because let's face it, we're signing his prospects, and if we go to sell them on, then like there's no many, like you and Robert saying, there's no many players out there young that have had Champions League experience or European experience. So that's a big plus as well. When a club's trying to approach you, you can maybe add hopefully a few million onto it because they've got that kind of Champions League experience and stuff like that. And I think even is playing in a team that's got to win every week. I mean, you're building a mentality there that a player that knows that losing's an absolute disaster. Robert?
Yeah, it's totally fine to say that they have the exposure to the Champions League, but it's also down to how they perform as well as individuals. They could have those 8 games, as Jim says, in the Champions League and be absolute passengers, or they could be star players and the value gets a 0 on the end of the number, and before you know it, there's a bid in, and again, it improves Rangers' finances, but it allows the club to go and spend yet another bit of money on a young, promising player to bring them through, or an experienced player. It's almost like a revolving door. So if they've got that exposure, we've got that platform, certainly it can only benefit the club in the long run. But the most important thing is that any player coming into the club now, they hit the ground running, and we get that league title back to Ibrox, and then we get into the Champions League. It's a whole different ballgame in there.
Like, when we go on to like speculation and stuff like that, like the thing about I think we've seen the day with Butland, right? So obviously he's got exposure because of how well he's performing, some of the saves he's been pulling off in even just our league, Robert. I think that's what's probably raised a few eyebrows. You mean, and the other day I think it was linked that it was Nottingham Forest that was coming in, and I'm quite glad that the club have kind of totally just threw it out, because for me, I think it's laughable that a club like Nottingham Forest thinks that they're going to get like, say, a guy like Jack Butland. I mean, maybe they can fling money at him, but I think Jack Butland's at the point in his career where he's looking at trophies, European exposure. I don't think he wants to be going down to Nottingham Forest fighting relegation in the Premier League.
No, he certainly, he said it himself the other week in his interview there that he was focused a lot on Rangers, and he was asked about, obviously, the Euros coming up, will he get back into that England squad with the way he's performing? Personally, I don't think he would, even if he is performing here to the best of his ability because of the league he's playing in. But I think that's only a good thing for us if he's not away at the Euros. But every player has a price, but it is nice to see that the club have knocked it back, and it seems to be an official bid. It's not kind of speculated media talk or paper talk. So he's been a very important player, and if you did sell him, how much would you need to pay to go and get somebody to replicate that? Or do you just look at McCrory, because there's a massive gulf between the two? Let's be honest, boys.
I'm glad you brought that up, JM. Much would you sell Butland for?
If it was me for a free transfer that we brought in at the year, there, you got to tell me 10 million is a good price, isn't it?
I'd add a zero to that, then.
Well, yeah. Do you think with our business and that we're going to turn down 10 million quid for a player that we brought in for free? Any player? Do you think that if it was a serious? Do you think?
Right, before I answer that, I'm going to say to Old School Blue now to put a wee poll up in the Facebook chat, because I'm interested to see what the fans think, right? So what price would you sell Butland for? And we'll go for, let's go for crazy figures, right? So we'll go with your 10 million, right? Yeah. We'll go 10, 20, 30. Will we push it to that? We'll just go 10, 20, 30.
Should we get 10, 20, 30? Should we go in? Yeah, we can't pretend to be businessmen. Do 10, 20, 30 million.
Right. Robert, happy with that? For a wee poll?
Yeah, certainly. It'd be good to see what the listeners think. Vote in the poll and then come in and give us your thoughts as well. Would you sell them? Would you not?
What do you want to hear? So what? All right. So you two then, 10, 20, 30. What are you selling them for?
Personally, mate, I mean, I'm probably sounding like a Rangers fan with these tinted glasses on, but I think that's is in the way that market is down south, and how hard it is to get a steady goalkeeper with good experience and stuff like that. I wouldn't be selling them. I think I'd be looking for pushing the 20 million mark. That's how important I think he is to Rangers now. I think that guy, as it stands now, is probably helped us win a lot of games this season so far, especially Europe. There's been moments in Europe where teams could have probably scored a few goals and he's stepped up. That one where the one that jumps out to me is the one where he got up and done the wink. You know what I mean? As if to say, that was no bother. You know what I mean? That itself is probably worth 20 million.
One of my favourite moments, Liza, I've not seen a meme or anything of it yet, but I would do. Do you remember the goalmouth scramble at the end of the final, the League Cup final? And I don't know if they showed it on the telly, but he just walked, when everyone was fighting in the thing, he just walked out to about the penalty spot with the ball up in the air, like he was holding the trophy, as if to say, yeah, that's it done, don't worry, I've got the ball. He was walking around like that. It was it was gold.
Yeah. He's definitely he's a character as well. He's very professional, but I tell you something, I think he's one of these guys that I heard him when he was out playing golf with McGregor and that. I think he would be some laugh out in a golf course as well. He's a good personality to have around the club, Robert.
Yeah, you can see that he strikes a professional kind of approach. He's quite calm, collected, as James said there. When he's fighting, he's just walking around with the ball in the air. He's quite cool and he comes across very confident. I know we done the kind of video about the goalkeepers and the Rangers in Europe and things, and he spoke very highly of the club. He understands what the pressure is, and he was an instant hit with the fans. So I think if there was a bid to come in, then it would have to be fairly high. But for me, if there's an option not to sell him in this, JM, I'll ask you. I would pick that, not to sell him. And my reasoning for that is, for me, a £40 million Champions League package and a Premier League title is worth more than what you would get for Jack Butland. And he's instrumental to us getting there.
What about you, JM? Like, obviously, you've said 10, but would you really accept it in this window right now? Would you accept 10 million for your goalkeeper that's probably gave you at least, I would say, 12 points this season in the league?
I would say not in this window, but if that's people coming in already, you got to remember on the back of a good 6 months, and there's people coming in talking for and wanting him already. I think we'll be taking 15 million from him in the summer.
Robert, what would you honestly take, Robert? Let's say if his form keeps up, what would you honestly be looking for that you would find acceptable for us to go and reinvest into that team to find a goalkeeper that can probably to have that presence? Because that's what, see, when McGregor left, I know McGregor, the tail end of his career there, the kind of low start, but I always felt when McGregor was in goals against teams that he felt that they weren't going to score, if you know what I mean. And I'm starting to get that kind of same feeling about Butland, that every time the team goes out, like say St Mirren there, I didn't have that kind of fear that it was got to be Butland it would make a mistake. It was more like maybe the defence, no catching a header. But it seems to be that Butland's got that commanding presence in that goal.
Yes, it certainly has, mate. And as you said, when McGregor left, we wondered who it was that was going to be replace him, and obviously Butland was mentioned back last season when McGregor stayed for that final year, and there was probably eyebrows raised that we were going for Butland because he hadn't played a lot of football, but he's came in and he's been a true professional, and I think that's just of where he's came from. He's came from the English Premier League. He knows how to kind of handle the media, handle the support, the pressure. He was an England international, so for me, if you're going to put a bid in for him and you were to accept it, you're probably talking at least 20 million, because if he was doing it in the English Premier League, that would be more, and it should be no disrespect that the fact he's doing it in Scottish football. If the player is playing at a high standard, then you have to pay the price for him. But again, as I said, if he was doing it down in England, you're maybe talking an extra 10 million on top of that, even at the age he is, because he's at his peak and he's a true professional and he's bags of confidence. And I'm yourself. I don't feel kind of worried. So if somebody's through 1-on-1, I've got faith that Butland's going to save it, and he's shown that throughout this season already, even in Europe.
So, JM, just want to add into the Butland thing?
Hello.
I think we're joined by someone, Jamie.
All right. Hi, Albert. Is that yourself there, mate?
Aye, it's me. I was just wanting to say, how much can you really get for a goalkeeper nowadays anyway? I don't think that any kind of money that we're going to get for Jack Butland is going to be worth as much as that guy's done for our club. In spirit, in confidence in our own team. I don't understand why we would even think about getting rid of this guy. I know that the young man there, I mean, he's a great keeper as well. He showed it. But I really think that Jack Butland has actually solidified like a spirit in Rangers that we've not had for a while. And that's just my point.
I'll take it around the boys. JM, I'll just come at you first with it, mate. That's his Butland has. He's got the spirit. He has been ruining a lot of clubs in the sense he's done a right good apprenticeship. He's built up experience. He's known how to be professional, like say at Man United, Crystal Palace and stuff like that. And he knows what it's like to work in a top league. You know what I mean? So he's brought that into Rangers, and I think even with his England experience as well, I think he's passing that on to our current players, and hopefully he is passing it on to young Robbie as well, because again, he is the future. Hopefully, if he sticks about, then we will see Robbie come to the forefront. But
and the wee man has shown himself. So he has. He's been brought in critical times, and the wee man has shown himself to be like a great keeper. Do you know what I mean? It's like there's a great. Do you know what I mean? There's a great hereditary thing with goalkeepers in Rangers. Do you know what I mean? We've got a right good goalkeeping now. You know what I mean? We've been bringing them up, if you know what I mean. Do you know what I mean? We had a right good few goalkeepers come through, like the likes of McGregor and like other players like that. Do you know what I mean? Other keepers like that. And I, you know what I mean? I know McCrory is like our future, but I just think we should have Butland now.
No, JM, it's been an area that Rangers have done well in the transfer market. If you think about it, going right back, like I says, I can't really remember a bad goalkeeper that was signed. I mean, even during Warburton's time, what would you call him, JM? You'll remember.
Big Wes.
Big Wes. He got a bit of stick, but he got when you look at
the worst one that Letizi we signed, Le Guen, remember him? He was throwing him in the goal, wasn't he? I remember him. He was throwing him in the goal, but he was a French one, so we don't count them on the rest of them.
I remember is that Charbonnier who was doing like a painting on the. He was saving goals and painting. He was painting some still life paintings as well. Big Charbonnier, you remember him? Big Charbonnier.
No, I do not remember him. And also, Big Super Ali thought, who was that one? The drink driver thought he'd be better than Craig Gordon. That was a good laugh as well. Simonson or something like that.
Oh.
That was it, wasn't it? Thought we'd give him a contract over Craig Gordon. That was a good laugh, wasn't it?
We're pulling them out the woodwork now, man.
I remember one time at Rangers we had like about 4 amazing keepers, and like 3 of them were internationals. We had Kloss, we had Charbonnier, who was an international as well, and we had Gorham, who was still in the books. You know what I mean? So that's like 3 internationals we kind of had. You know what I mean? But because Kloss was still on the books in German international. Charbonnier, I'm sure he was still a French international, maybe third. Do you know what I mean, or whatever, third pick or whatever. But we have had great keepers at Ibrox.
Robert, I think that the thing is that back in the days we had a lot of money to fling about on good talent.
Plus we were in Europe constantly.
Albert, 2 minutes to bring Robert in. He's got to make his wee point, mate.
Yeah, we certainly could do it back then. Football's changed dramatically now, and as you say, if you were to replace Butland, for example, then you would have to go and spend quite a high amount to get a young player who is going to reach that potential as well. So it's a ever-changing game, football. And again, I agree with what Albert said when he came in. For me, there's a lot more money and prize at stake than what any team could offer us for Jack Butland right now.
Yep, that's what I think. There's money's no everything, especially the way we're feeling. We're a bit, you know what I mean, as a club, we're a bit tender. That's the way I feel. We're a bit tender. We're getting there, but we're still a bit tender. So I think we need to keep what we've got. And that Clement seems to be, Big Clemmy, he seems to be doing a bit for us. Do you know what I mean? He seems to be getting the young guys that were ways who weren't really doing much under Warburton. With him sitting with his horn in his head all the time. Clemmy's out shouting about, and he's doing a wee bit, I think, and he's getting all these young players and they want to play for him. That's the thing as well. Do you know what I mean?
Albert, do you think it's a thing maybe in the summer that we should be maybe flinging money at Butland to sign a wee extension?
I don't know about maybe in the summer. Like I don't know. See, that's the thing. I would like to keep him. But you're saying that if we can keep him in the summer, you know what I mean, that's one thing, innit? And then we can get something in place. See, like Klopp, he's away and he's saying, you know, I'm going to end of the season. He's letting Liverpool get things in place. Do you know what I mean? But if we were to sell him in January, I just think that would be sad. Do you know what I mean? I don't think that would be right if we were to sell Butland in January. You know what I mean?
No.
I mean, tonight.
No. I'll take it to JM again. JM, I don't think that says the manager and even Butland himself. I think Butland knows he's got unfinished business at Rangers now as it stands.
That's a good
100%. And he's like, if you like, he seems like anyway he talks. He's a proper football man, isn't he? And enjoys his football. And I don't think he'll be wanting to go in. I think unless you're talking ridiculous Premier League money, which you're talking north of that £20 million now comes in, we won't be shifting him in January. There'll be no chance, like you say. There's the Champions League and everything to consider. But I seriously think if everything goes as well as we're hoping, and it looks like it's going to go under this new manager, I think we're going to have a serious decision to make in the summer. And that's when it's up, and it's upset young Robbie McCrory if it is, isn't it? At the end of the day, but he's a class act, isn't he? And just, I don't think he won't be going there now, but I think if he carries on, if this is a team trying it cheekily now, what they're going to be trying in the summer.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thanks a lot, guys. Right.
I don't need to shoot off, mate. If you want to stay on, you're more than welcome, bud.
No, listen, what it was, I was just wanting to make my point, and don't worry, I'm still listening in. I've just got a couple of things today in the house now, and then that's me bed for work in the morning.
Right,
and that guy says, I've watched the rest of this game. It's still not neat for Arsenal and Forest now, so I'll just watch the end of this football game. Right, guys.
Right, enjoy, mate.
As I say, first time call, long time listener.
Brilliant, mate. You're always welcome. Any time, buddy, all right?
Okay, right, guys. Cheers for it. Cheers, by the way. He's doing an exciting job, by the way.
It only helps with the callers, mate. Only helps with the callers.
All right, thanks very much. Right, bye, guys.
Cheers, Albert. Take care. I think that's on my way. That was a cracking call. That's his first time caller, and that's what it's all about, Bears. That's his 0141 356 1972. We're just coming up for the tune, so like I says, give us a call. Let us know about transfers, what he's been hearing. Like I says, maybe we've not heard all the rumours and stuff like that, so it'd be good to discuss. And like I says, we will, in the second half of the show, we'll start touching on what we know is probably concrete now as it stands. So give us a call. Boys, we'll touch on the kind of transfer speculation in the second half, but just to finish off with, obviously, Butland, should we be looking to kind of extend that contract, or is it just something we'll just have to play it by ear come the summer? Go to Giant first.
I think if we haven't already got good terms in on already in regards to minimum clauses and that, it's maybe something with the interest we've got to consider. But at the end of the day, let's also just enjoy that we've got ourselves a world-class keeper that's going to be wanted by a few teams in the Premier League next year.
So, Robert, mate?
I think there will be a time where we'll probably look and get him moved on, but certainly I don't think we can do it now, particularly in January, this late on in the window, because if you do let him go, whether it be tonight or tomorrow, could you imagine the scramble trying to get somebody in that last minute? And again, as you said, he's got that presence and that commanding box that's settled the defence team as well, so you're taking a big part out of the way we've been playing recently and taking away the confidence factor as well. So I don't think it would, obviously this window come the summer, if he does well in Europe, wins a league title, it adds value, and then it's a different conversation.
Definitely. Right, boys, we're getting to that time, so I'm watching the time closely so I don't annoy folks, so get yourselves on mute because we're going to have a tune.
I've been in exile for some years and my eyes filled up with tears when the Rangers came to Wolverhampton town. So I took a trip along just to hear some famous songs when the Rangers came to Wolverhampton town. I stood there all alone while the boys all down from home sang of Rangers, that team of great renown. And a sight I'd never seen when they sang God Save the Queen, when the Rangers came to Wolverhampton town. There's not a team like the Glasgow Rangers, one of the famous songs they sung. And a sight I'd never seen when they sang God Save the Queen, when the Rangers came to Wolverhampton town. Now on the field below, the boys put on a show, the likes they'd never seen at Molyneux. And it's football, it was grand, from Macmillan, Scott and Brand, when the Rangers came to Wolverhampton town. There's not a team like the Glasgow Rangers, one of the famous songs they sung. And a sight I'd never seen when they sang God Save the Queen, when the Rangers came to Wolverhampton town. Now the white flag must come nearer with men like Bobby Shearer, the way he played at Wolverhampton Town. And the world forever after would sing of Jimmy Baxter, for on his head they placed that noble crown. There's not a team like the Glasgow Rangers, one of the famous songs they sung, and a sight I'd never seen when they sang God Save the Queen, when the Rangers came to Wolverhampton Town. Now I knew it had to happen, I heard a mighty roar, the famous Glasgow Rangers they had scored. And the sky was white and blue, Wolverhampton shook right through, the loyal ramping Rangers had come through. There's not a team like the Glasgow Rangers, one of the famous songs they sung, and a sight I'd never seen when they sang God Save the Queen, when the Rangers came to Wolverhampton Town. When the Rangers came to Wolverhampton Town.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Right, welcome back to part two. I hope you enjoyed the first part, and let's say give us a call 0141 356 1972. We're eager to hear your points of view and let's say discuss and debate about all things Glasgow Rangers. Boys, we all back? Robert and JM?
Yeah, all present.
Yep.
Right, boys. So, we've talked about a goalkeeper speculation. We've talked about left back. We've even talked about the midfield. Speculation about a right-sided winger coming in. Again, another area that I was probably a wee bit surprised at, because again, I thought full focus would probably be on strikers coming into the club. Do we think just now, as it stands with everything we've been linked with, do you think Silva and this boy we've been linked with, do you think it's more attacking players that we're looking at rather than a striker that may be coming in this transfer window? Because we've not really been linked, well, as far as I've seen, we've not been really linked with any strikers. It's more been I think maybe fan-led with the whole Shankland thing. I just don't know if we're going to actually sign a striker in this window. Robert, your thoughts, mate?
I'd certainly like to see us sign a striker, and I think we will, to be honest with you. But I agree with what you're saying. The service needs to be there. It doesn't matter who we sign as a striker. They need to have the service, and it doesn't matter if you're a 20-goal striker or a 35-goal striker a season. You need the service, and we're obviously losing Sima for the 2-3 months. He's a big contribution, 15 goals, and I don't know how many assists he's got, but that's a big loss on that left-hand side. The right side, McCausland's done well since he's come in. He's been a breath of fresh air. He's took his chance and he's worked well. But I think that right side has not been replaced since Daniel Candeias, in my opinion. So if this boy is the answer, then I'm all excited to see it. He's a 20-year-old Colombian. So there's another Buffalo soldier back at Ibrox.
Aye, here's hoping. Another crazy Colombian. We've had a hit and a miss. Og Cifuentes, maybe he's looking as though he's going back to Brazil with the rumours, JM. But as it stands now, I think this boy, God, I can't even, is it Oscar or something like that? He's been touted for us for this right side. I was excited because when it came up, JM, he was saying he's a right winger, but then I've been hearing he's been playing more on the left, and so my bubble was burst quite quickly. I really do hope that we're bringing him in for that right side, because I think McCausland's need a wee bit of help out there, mate.
Yeah, I think so. I think it looks like he can play both sides, which is good. And what you were saying originally about not bringing in a striker, maybe that's the case. But I know the manager's just been keen to, he's not bothered where the goals come from, and the goals can come from anywhere. And obviously, with the last couple of seasons, our top goal scorer has been our right back, so anything's going to be an improvement. So maybe even bringing in this Silva that doesn't look like a out-and-out goal scorer. But at the moment, we're not seeing a lot of them. But maybe with his play, he'll maybe bring more players into the game. And if we can add a bit more quality, it might allow people like Cantwell to score a couple more. These guys, add a few more goals from midfield. Because for a long time with these sort of sit-in midfield players we've not been contributing as much as we should do from the middle of the pitch or from the attacking midfielders. So maybe the manager himself isn't too bothered in regards to bringing in an out-and-out number 9.
I agree, mate. Robert, you've got a wee question, mate, I think.
Yeah, just touching back on what you said earlier on about the one in, one out kind of theory. If we're bringing this boy in, who they can play in the right or the left, do you think that there's a chance that Matondo or even Scott Wright could be going out the door tomorrow? Would it be on loan or for a fee?
Giant knows my thoughts on this. The Scott Wright, I really hope it's Scott Wright because I think Matondo's shown promise. But I would imagine anybody looking at our team would probably rather grab Matondo than Scott Wright. JM?
I think you're right. I think they would do, but I think we'd be looking for some money for Matondo. I think if this guy was to come in, you might see Scott Wright go on loan to another club in Scotland.
Hopefully. I think we've been enjoying all day.
Yeah, and it might cost us a few quid as well.
Old Davey, how we doing, mate?
Good evening, young guys. I don't know if I should be phoning here, but I was informed by the phone operator that this is only available if you're under 35 tonight by a certain switchboard operator. So I'm 40 years out of that. So you're going to take my call, aye?
Of course, mate. As Big Philip come on says, you need a balance. You need your experience in your team as well, mate. So you're more than welcome.
It's good to hear you guys. Well, what my point was is we're talking about who we're going to bring in. I'll be really pretty, no, I'm not saying gutted, but if we want to win the league over the rest of the season,
Davey, you still there? I'll get the techie team to bring him back in. Davey, that wasn't us. It was the young team, so don't be phoning back in saying we've cut you off. It definitely wasn't us, mate. So speak to that techie team and come back in, mate, and make that point. That was sounding good there. Robert, I think Davey was touching on a good point there, mate. You want to expand on it?
Yeah, obviously didn't hear quite a lot, but obviously the gist, it seemed like he was saying that if we don't get a striker, he's not going to be devastated. It'd be a wee bit alarming. So, given the fact that we won't have Dessers as the out-and-out striker, we also know Silva's not classed himself as a natural striker either. So, I think we may leave ourselves short. And personally, I just don't want to be in the position again where we were on the road to Seville, where we're in a European campaign, we're in a league campaign, cup campaign, and we don't have a recognised striker. You're having to makeshift a false 9. And I don't think, given where we are in the positions in Europe, the league, I don't think we can take that chance because, as I said, there's a lot riding at stake this season and it's all doable. It's absolutely doable. And it's probably a surprise to say that given where we were so many months ago before Clement came in, but I think a striker for me needs to be the priority tomorrow. It would be good to get the 2 young lads in that are coming, but I still think the striker, as I think Aldi was touching on, that's probably a key area.
I'm going to use you as your translator. Have you found out the pronunciation of this left back that we've been linked with?
The left back, I believe, is Jefty, and the Colombian is Oscar Cortez.
There you go, Rangers
So
Radio.
Jeff and Oscar.
Yeah, pretty much.
Jeff and Oscar.
Class, perfect Brazilian and Colombian names.
See, you're going with the striker there, Robert. Are you thinking obviously? Is your man Shanklin? Is that what you're thinking?
I said it before on the show, mate. The longer this window goes on, the less likely I think it is. That's not to say that there'll be some drama tomorrow. I certainly wouldn't have any qualms if he is the man to come in. He obviously knows the league and he'll hit the ground running, as we all kind of asked for. And just when you said that Scott Wright may be on a loan move to another Premier League club, could he be part of that Shanklin deal? Who knows? But if it's not
That'll be
Shankland,
interesting.
they might not have that plan B, and I'll support it 100%.
Well, Davey's back with us. Davey, it's certainly, again, we've just announced it on the show, mate. It wasn't us that done anything, so welcome back, mate.
Yes, that's fine. I'm going to start changing my nom de plume to Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'll be back.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Aye, I'm a big shooter. Anyway, the point I was making is that that's okay having the Dessers right. That's all right in a one-off cup final. It's not a necessity, but you need it. But what my point is to go through the rest of the season and we'll only have that one guy.
No, Davey, man, right, Davey, you need to go up to the upstairs bedroom or something, mate, and put the phone out the window, because like I say, it's definitely not us. But Jim, I will just expand on what Davey's talking about there. He's right. Dessers, it can't be Dessers for the rest of the season for me, right? But what's concerning me about the Shankland thing is that there's nobody else. I mean, you would think maybe even the Championship and stuff like that down south would want to come in for a guy like that scoring goals and like season.
They did it with Nesbitt, didn't they? And things like that. I know he's maybe a bit younger, but they were around him, weren't they? There was people in for him, wasn't there? Whereas they don't seem to. I mean, the obvious thing maybe for down there is he's not rapid, is he? He's not, he's not rapid. But again, we don't need that. Teams we play, like when we had Boyd, we signed Boyd back in the day, and when he went to Middlesbrough, because the teams play differently, they're not dominating. He probably just didn't have a yard of pace to play in that league, did he? When he went down there at the time, whereas he was scoring goals for us for fun. But another one, maybe, I'm just thinking about the league, and he seems to score goals with anybody. Would you touch the kid at Aberdeen? The bloke at Aberdeen? Mavoski? Would you? He scores goals.
He scores goals, but I think the dark side are floating about him the news. What I was hearing the night, mate. I think they're looking to go into that. But whether they get him, maybe he prefers the Glasgow Rangers. You never know, Rob. Robert, have you heard any rumours about the kind of striking options that for Rangers? And the whole Shankland thing is, like I says, is Shankland? Is he going to be the guy that comes in? Season's gone by with Smith. Smith done brilliantly, like say Jim was saying, touching and we are signing a Boyd and stuff like that, and Kenny Millers, and it did get his early line. I'm just, like I says, I'm more now getting to the point where I'm wondering, like, why is there nobody else? I mean, at the end of the day, it's low risk for a team down south to come in and maybe chuck 3 million at them or something like that. I mean, I think it's a lot harder for us to part with that kind of cash.
Yeah, and I agree with what you said earlier on. Has it been kind of fan driven, because there's nothing been kind of concrete. There's been no other clubs mentioned about him. It seemed to be all kind of Rangers fans demanding Shankland in, based on what he's done this season, and even going back to before when we were coming back up the leagues, people were saying that we should have got him in. He was a different player back then, and we were in a different position as well. So I get what JM says about him not being fast, but for me, if your goal scorer isn't fast, but you can put the ball in the net, that will do for me. And that comes down to what you said, GB, about Sima, Matondo, these Cortez, these fast-pacey wingers. That's your pace, that's your ball in behind, and then your strikers in the box where they should be, putting the goals away to get you the 3 points. As I said, the longer it goes on, I don't see us going in for Shankland, but you never know on deadline day, do we? If it's stranger signings.
Well, Robert, where I agree with you is that Rangers do like to sometimes pull out of the bag on transfer deadline day. You know what I mean? There's always, I don't know, I feel as though it's a thing that we like to steal the headlines sometimes in transfer deadline day. So maybe they're holding back and got surprises off. But we've been joined by Joanna, I think. Are you there?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes. How are you doing tonight, and what's your points?
I'm good. Thank you for taking my call. I just want to know, what do you think is what's happening with Shankland? Because it's taking so long.
But I'll take it around the boys. I'll start with JM first. JM, I think the thing with Shankland is, and what Robert was touching on there as well is it's been a fan-driven thing. I don't think it's been anything that even Rangers have even hinted at yet, or any other club.
No, excuse me. No, I think fan and media, because it's a Scottish player, which they think they can highlight for a few million in the league. I personally think, in regards to us, I think we might make a bid tomorrow. You might see some movement tomorrow. But again, that might contradict what I've said with fan and media. But I think we need a striker, and we want one who's proven. And I think we might test the water tomorrow and see how it goes. I think you might be hearing mid-lunchtime sometime with maybe made a bid.
Have you got any inside information you would like to disclose? Because that sounded pretty promising to
Well,
me.
well, I saw this. I think it was this morning. I saw that Hearts made a new bid for him. Well, a new contract, because he's already with the team. So they just gave him a better deal. So I'm not sure if it's accepting that. Hopefully not. But I don't know if we have made any bid for him, like, whatsoever.
Robert, I think, as Joanna's touching on there with the Shankland thing, it could be that maybe Rangers are just waiting to see where Shankland's going to make his decision. If he knocks back this contract, then it does leave Hearts in a bit of a predicament, in the sense that they know that guy's not going to be signing a new contract with them. And then really come the summer, then what is it, a year I think he's got left? Do they really want to run down a guy's contract that doesn't technically want to be there? Or could they use the money to reinvest in their squad? I think in this day and age, the likes of Hearts, it's very hard for them to bring in money. So I think they've got to have their business seed on as well.
Yeah, it all comes down to what the player wants. And I know people say that he's one of us and he would walk into the team and everything like that, but it's what the player wants. It's where he sees his future. He is 29. He's got a year and a half left in his Hearts contract. They've offered, I think he's the highest paid player in the history that they've offered, but we've seen that about a week to 10 days ago, and they knocked it back, supposedly. So again, it's all the media talk. And if they're doing that, is that just a kind of way of Rangers need to put a bid in, and then before you know it, you're held to ransom for going at a higher bid than you could have? I mean, if you ask yourself, what price would you put in for Shankland if the media and fan talk wasn't there? I don't think it would be near the 3 million that we've all spoke about. You're probably looking at maybe half of that for a guy that's in his last 18 months of his contract. But the fan base is driven it.
That's a good point.
Should we get old school Blue busy again and put a wee poll about how much we would buy Shankland for? JM, you're good with the numbers, mate, so go and chuck out a couple of numbers for old school Blue to put a poll up for. How much would you buy Shankland for? Is it going to be 2, 3 or 5?
I was going to go, let's go 1.5, 3 or 5. And I'm thinking the 1.5 maybe being a bit generous, but if he is going to come, I don't want him to think that we've undervalued him here at Rangers Radio. But I would personally, I think before this, I would have been 18 months less Hearts. I think if you put $1 million in front of them, they've got to be tempted.
Robert, what do you think? Are we good with the numbers, mate?
I'd probably start at 2 million. And again, that's testing the water right away for a guy that's in his last.
I'm glad you're not negotiating for us.
Just spending all the money.
There you go. There's 2 million, guys.
Think about it. Give him £2 million, right? We spent 4.5 on Tessels. The jury's still out on him. 3.5 on Sam Ladders. There's less risk, in my opinion, spending £2 million on Lawrence Shankland. And if you win that league, you get £40 million. There's your money made on it. It doesn't matter if we can make a profit on him in the future. If he comes in now for 2 million, 2.5 max, and wins the league, you've made your money back on him. Doesn't matter about the player trading model. £40 million of Champions League money and a league title is better than paying $1.5 million just to save some money elsewhere, I think.
You also need to think that it's not just one league. It's a few seasons that he's going to give us. So there's more to think of. You know what I mean? Because it's like,
100%,
win us the league now, but he's he's going to be there for a long term.
I agree. By the way, just to let you know about the first poll, it came back at a unanimous 72% for don't sell for Butland. So that's the first poll done. And let's say we'll keep old school busy in the background there. We'll go with Roberts. Well, in fact, we'll go with JM's 1.5, and then we'll go with Roberts 2 million, and then we'll go with my 3.5. Right. I'll go with the 3.5. Let's see what the poll come back with. Maybe 3.5 and chuck in Scott Wright. Old school, put that on 3.5 plus Scott Wright. Okay.
Oh, jeez.
Right. I think old Davies joined us again. How we doing?
I'm scared to say it. I'm scared to say it. No, I'm not still going on. Good evening, Joanna. How are you?
Hello, Davey.
Yeah, it's great to hear your lovely accent.
How are you?
You should phone more often. You're the only one that makes sense. But regarding Shankland, guys, you can only spend what you can afford. That's the bottom line. I think they can afford 3 million.
I heard you could afford 10 million, so go and step up.
No,
and
that's you get me mixed up with Bridgman. Oxy's a fly. He's got plenty stuck away.
Right, back to seriousness. Right, okay. So we're clearly all want a striker. Joanna, is Shankland the be all and end all for you?
What was that again?
Shankland, is he the be all and end all? Is he got to be the one that we go for, or do you think our manager, because of the signings that we've been looking at, I mean, they're all been formed, do you think our manager's got a wee ace up his sleeve that he might go for the Mora?
I'm going to be honest here. I hope he doesn't have anybody up in the sleeve or anything. I just want Shankland because he's Scottish. So it's not, I'm not trying to be anything, but I think we need more Scottish guys in the team. Because think about it, Ryan Jack is not going to be there for a long time. Scott Wright is not going to be there either for a long time. So I just we only have Suta, and it's not trying anything. I'm just kind of trying to have more like a balanced team because I don't know. It's just my thought. And the only thing I don't like about this lingering about Shankland is that sometimes I get so upset that I feel like the closer to the end of the window we are, I want to offer him less money. Because I feel like it's kind of, I don't know, it's not good, but it's how I feel. Like, if we wait until tomorrow, I feel like I only give him $1 million. You know what I mean? But if we kind of would have made the deal in a good time and all this craziness, it wouldn't be to the point that it is. He probably would get a better deal, if that makes sense. But now I feel like 2.5, 3 is actually okay. Before I was like, give him 5, you know what I mean? But now I feel like as long as he's
break the bank.
Team, as long as he's in the team, I'm fine, you know. But it's just like, come on, just get it done. I hope there's nobody else, and like I said before, he's not thinking of anybody else, and get him in the team. That's my thought.
Okay. Davey, for you, mate, is it going to be Shankland, or do you think, again, like I was saying, do you think maybe Clermont's got somebody in mind that we just don't even know?
Well, you've just hit the button there with the last comment you made about Clermont. I'm quietly confident that he's been obviously thinking about this for quite a while. So if it doesn't go plan A, he'll go to plan B, whatever that'll be. But if he does come in, I'll be for that. But I still think we'll have somebody else. If that doesn't materialise, they'll have somebody else. Because we cannot go on for the rest of the season with one striker, because we've got nobody else for the young guys. He's been nobbled, blah blah blah, with injuries. So we've got to get somebody, and I would be surprised. I'd be shocked actually tomorrow. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. I think tomorrow will be a really exciting day for us. And what we're bringing in so far has been marvellous. And our squad is getting stronger by the week, by the day. And that's a good thing forward. But we have to have another striker. It's imperative.
Robert, where are you at, mate, with the Shankland thing? Is it going to be him, or would you be happy if, like I says, we've been discussing with Joanna and David, would you be happy if, like I says, came a wee bit left field with somebody that we've never even heard of?
It wouldn't surprise me, given the fact that who he's signed so far. I don't think any of us really had an idea about the three boys that came. Maybe Silva, just because of his reputation, but certainly we're not got a manager now who just knows England and Scotland. We've got a manager who's worked in Belgium, France. He knows the game. You can see that he's played in Europe. He's a very experienced manager. He'll do his homework, and if he thinks that a player can come in, whether it be from the Scottish League, Europe, no matter what age you are, he'll go for that player. And again, certainly any player that comes in, we get behind him, gets a massive 6 months ahead of us. And even if it's a loan player, then as long as they get the job done this season, we can review where we are in the summer for these players. But I do think a striker will come in.
JM, you got us a wee bit all excited, mate, so I'm going to take the same question yourself. Is it got to be Shankland, or do you think it's somebody else?
I think I agree with the point David says. I think it's got to be the right person. It's got to be anyone else. But we also forgetting we've got Silva in, or we're not classing him as a striker. Are we not thinking we've got two strikers in him, and we're not seeing enough to be want a third? You were saying with big Desses up front, but Clement's obviously planning on using Silva up top as well.
That's JM. That's my worry. Like I've got a feeling just with the players that we've been linked with, and I'll come back to Joanna. Joanna, this is my kind of concern, is that I don't think that we've ever been interested in Shankland. I think it's all been for either, like JM touched on earlier, it's been the Scottish media and it's been our fan base wanting it. I don't, for the signings that are coming in, and there's JM touched on Silva. I mean, we need to get all these guys into the team. I know they'll need time to settle and stuff like that, but for the outside, it looks as though that our transfer business is nearly done.
Yeah, so if Silva said himself that he's not a striker, so I'm thinking like if he's going to use Silva, it would be more of a number 10 position, and I'm not sure if it's going to be like the substitution for Canwell or something like that, and then that means that the only striker left will be Dessers, and then if we get, which this is what I was thinking, if we get Lovelace back after injury, that's maybe like the way, if there's no strikers coming in. So, because Danilo is injured, so I'm not sure which way is it going. This season has been an interesting one, I'm not going to lie. So everything is kind of unexpected.
Mm-hmm. Davey, I think the thing that we can maybe hope for is that there will be players out there. There will be strikers that will be sitting on benches, probably not getting a lot of game time and stuff like that. Maybe could do a job for like say Rangers and stuff like that would maybe jump at a chance at a loan. Because the way it's been looking at it, Clement and our director of recruitment have been going about the business where it's been loan to buy. And I think that they're just trying to get to the summer, because the summer, if you think about it, once we get to the summer, it starts a whole new budget and stuff like that to buy players. So maybe, like I says, it might be a short term for long term gain.
Yeah, I agree with you totally there. As I was saying earlier, a couple of conversations ago, I said he's got plan A, B, and C. So I'm more than happy to sit back and watch what this guy's going to end up with, because I have total 110% faith in this guy. Because you just sit and listen to him, He knows it. He knows it. You just said it a while ago. He knows the game inside out. He knows the players he wants. He'll know what he wants. What he gets is a different matter. That's what I'm saying. Is if you're going to buy, are you talking about Shanklin? You only buy what you can afford. But there's going to be somebody. Well, he must have looked. Well, if that doesn't materialise, here's somebody else. Well, there'll be something coming in anyway. I'll be really surprised if we don't.
GB, I've got a question if you don't mind, mate.
Aye, no, mate, cut in.
If it's not Lawrence Shanklin tomorrow, right, and Dessers is in the form he's in, would you sign, would it be loan or permanent, a young, promising striker, or would you go for an experienced? Now, the name I'm thinking, if you're talking about experienced, this player was kind of put in the media a few weeks ago, and you probably laughed at it, but it could make a bit of sense. If you have an experienced player, there's a Michy Batshuayi of Fenerbahce, right? But would you go for him, kind of calibre, goal scoring, proven record, European football, or would you go for a young, promising player to be up and coming? If it isn't Shanklin, you sign.
Right, I'll go first and then we'll go around everybody, right? With that one, the Batshuayi one, when it first came out, really excited about it, and then the club came out pretty quickly and quashed it. But you know, as the windows went on, right, and his movement has went quite quiet as well. I'm in the hope. I'm got the fingers crossed. I'm in the hope that it's maybe that's what's going to be get pulled out of the bag. That he's the loan that we get in 2 days to the end of the season. I'm hoping that's the ace up the sleeve because I think that would be a fantastic signing.
What's his name?
I think Robert, go and say his full name.
Michy Batshuayi to play with Chelsea, Crystal Palace, Borussia Dortmund. I think they spell it AC Milan as well, if I'm right. So he's certainly well known in the football industry. I think he's out of contract in the summer by Fenerbahce. They do have an option to extend that, but I think he's been told if he wants to be part of the Euros as well, he needs to be playing football. And a Belgian manager, he'd make a bit of sense.
Like I says, I'll just finish off quickly that I think that's something that's maybe the clubs try to keep quiet, and then like I says, we're actually still looking at it. If you mean, I really hope that that's the kind of ace up the sleeve. Joanna, thoughts on it?
What about Tony the Tiger? Call it.
Oh.
Oh, well, I mean, the boy, by the way, I think Clement would have got a right good tune out of him. But I just think, you know, that way he's had to go and settle his life again and stuff like that. I just don't think we'd go back there. Davey, your thoughts, mate?
Well, I know where Robert's talking about. I know where he's coming from, but he's got a reputation. If I'm right, he played with Chelsea as well. He probably would do a good job up in Scotland, but we're told about certain. Look at what's he called? The Colombian chap. What's his name again? The boy that's gone. He's supposed to be going to Brazil.
Cifuentes.
Sorry.
Oh, are you talking about the guy who got set?
Yeah. I mean, look how much he was hyped up. A box-to-box striker, we're going to get set with Highland fire. Never happened. That's a chance you take. But I think if you get a deal, a good loan deal, I don't, as I say, I have 110% confidence in what this guy, what Clement's going to do tomorrow, because something's going to happen. But whether that will happen or will materialise, nobody knows, but something will come out the blue, as they say.
Jay, do you want to pick up on Robert's question, mate? Do you think that, like I says, it could be it's not so much a big name, but like I says, I think a big piece of quality that we might bring in on a loan?
I think January normally seems to be, if you like, the sticky plaster stuff, doesn't it? Trying to plug gaps. So potentially, if we're thinking a striker, it might only be a 6-month loan and a name. To be honest, I couldn't give you a handful of names. I think it's hard with the strikers. That, you know, you look at the way football is, there's not many number 9 strikers what we're looking for. But I think potentially a loan, and then looking for maybe a proper sign in the summer, because you're hoping maybe by, I don't know the thing, but you're hoping maybe by the summer you've also got Danilo back being fit. So you might potentially have Danilo, and if the Dest has kept his form up, you might say you might have 2 strikers there, but you don't know that. You'll have to assess that in the summer. But now for Robert's question, I think you need to be signing somebody who's as proven as it can be for signing someone who you're going to be able to pick up on a loan.
Robert, what's your thoughts on it, mate? What do you think? Do you think that maybe the club have just tried to cool the speculation so that nobody else is really looking, or do you think it's just something that is dead in the water?
Again, it depends how much of it was media talk. It was just to me, it came out of nowhere that here's a Belgian footballer who needs a club, and Rangers have a Belgian manager. That's the kind of way it came to me at first. But then at the same time, I'll have to be honest, it did excite me a wee bit because of his pedigree. And if they have cooled it, they've done it very well. But again, it's just depending if we want that ready-made goal scorer, or we want to get a boy in who can be developed into a goal scorer. Because at the minute, whoever you bring in, they have to get the shirt off Big Cyril, no matter what name it is.
Aye, and to be fair, Joanna, that attacking line, when you look at it, you've got, well, there's Saturday, you had Wright, Cantwell and Stirling up front, but in the ranks you've got the likes of Silva sitting there. We've got the potential of another right winger coming in, and I think that's that boy in midfield as well. He is an attacking midfielder, I know. So it's going to be busy in that area. I'm kind of veering towards Robert, but I think you might find us bringing in a young, hungry striker that can back up Dessers for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think the only position we are missing is that one of a striker, because even if that guy comes in, and if Robert likes him, I haven't seen any videos, but I'm going to trust Robert because he always speaks truth. So if that striker comes in, the team will be looking very strong, in my opinion, because there's also, I think, a left back coming in, or there's rumors of some left back coming in from Brazil or something. Not
Robert,
sure
on you go, mate. Aye, Robert's there. Robert, on you go.
Sorry, was that the left back you're talking about, Joanna? Sorry, I missed that last part.
Yeah.
Yeah, the boy Jeff, he's a 20-year-old Brazilian. He's currently playing his football in Cyprus for Apple. But I did see on social media that Apple Tel Aviv have actually said that he's not been seen since Thursday. He's went AWOL. So whether that's trying to force through a move or what, but certainly, in my opinion, going for these players at the age of 20 who have the potential to be great assets for us going forward. As I said, Clement's touched on the player trading model, so we need to kind of bear that in mind, that if we buy a player young and for very little, we can make a profit on them to stabilise the club and make the players go a lot more quality in years to come. So the boy Jeffy, I think, maybe the one that comes in, but I think that all depends also on what happens with either Barisic or Yilmaz. And it seems to be that it's a bit quiet for both of the players, but Galatasaray have let go 2 of their left backs, so they are certainly looking.
Joanna, you may come in.
It's just a really busy time for Clement, I think, but I think he's doing it right because it's just building up the team as he wants it to be. He has proved himself that he can even work with a little, because he has been winning, and everything he has done so far is with whatever he found from Michael Beale. So I just want to see what's going to happen. So for me, I'm just waiting to the end of the window and see what the final product will be.
No, well said, Davey. Just I've got to take this question to everybody, but as it stands now, we've probably got 2 concrete potential signings coming in, right? So it's a left back and a right winger with the looks at it. If that happens and that's it, the window shuts, Are you got to be happy with that, mate?
Oh, you've got to be. There's nothing you can do. I don't think Clement will be, but I honestly, I'd be very, very, very surprised if that materialises like that. I still think there's a few twists and turns coming. No, I'll not be disappointed at all. As we're on the up now, and you can tell that man came up, he'd only beat Ross Kelly or nothing. And I bet Ravers, there was sweaty palms there the last 5-10 minutes. So they're not a great mob. We're up there to take this lot. We've got what we've been looking for, and that's consistency. And we're playing as a team now. And the reason that is he's got them like that. So whatever materialises tomorrow, I'll be happy, because all we need to do is keep winning. And 56 in the bag, guys. It's in the bag, just like Big Stevie says. And that guy you were talking about, Robert, says went AWOL. He was spotted in Greg's to Big Stevie for a couple of fives. So there's every chance he's going to Rangers. So we'll leave it at that.
I thought he was eating his Kellogg's porridge. Jay, again, just the same kind of question, mate. If the window shuts tomorrow and that's the business done, we'll just bring in these two that we've been linked with. Again, just yourself, would you be happy with that? Do you think we're stronger for it, mate? And do you think it'll help us challenge to, as Davey says, 56?
I think if we have our squad fit, then I would be happy with it. Yeah, as long as the manager's happy with it. My one thing I was just thinking there out loud, don't know if you can add this one and take it round, but another position we've not mentioned is the left side is centre back. That would be the one. That and the strike would be rather, because at the moment we've currently only got Goldson, and if you like, I think covering all them positions, we've still got it. Does anyone think we need another centre back, or are we happy to have free floating, if you like, covering centre midfielders on centre backs on that other side?
No, well, it was a thing, Robert, at the start of the transfer window, wasn't it, that we were heavily linked with defenders, and I seen, was it McKenna's away to Copenhagen?
Yeah.
What an agent he's got. I tell you.
Yeah, I know.
A great bit of business for him, it would be pay packet. No, I can see James' point, that left centre back. It's been this season alone. You've had Davis, Suter, Balogun. So nobody cemented that, but I think it's just a tough position to try and find a natural left footer to kind of cover that. But as I saw with Suter, who was kind of out the cold a wee bit, he came in obviously against Hibs and then St Mirren in two standout performances. Balogun came out of nowhere and he's performed as well. So I trust the manager's seen enough. That
I suppose you've got Big Sterling and King as well, actually, haven't you? If you're looking for proper cover, you've got also Sterling and King, who's obviously done it before.
Yeah, for me, just when you mentioned King there, I wouldn't be surprised if King or a Devine goes out on loan tomorrow as well. I think it's also important we recognise who leaves the club on loan to get development time. Again, a lot of these youngsters have been in the squad, so they might just not be getting the minutes, and Clement feels that they can maybe move them on. So if King or Devine was to go on loan, I wouldn't say it leaves us short at the back, because you've got Sterling that can play anywhere. If you sell Butland, you can put Sterling in goal. And you go, Jay.
There you go. Yeah, I think there's plenty, isn't there?
Joanna, do you think our manager might surprise us with a total different position than a striker?
I don't know. He did say in one of the interviews that he won't be happy if he doesn't get a striker. So he is waiting for a striker. But if he brings someone else, because I think now that you guys are mentioning the centre back, I think Davis is out, is it not? Did I not hear that in a podcast?
Yeah, he's injured. Yeah,
so
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I suppose that he probably, I don't know. But Balogun is doing so well so far, but I think he only have a year in his contract, so not sure. But we need to think as well that it's not just one window. We can. I think the manager can prove us that he can do a lot. So if he brings 2-3 players now and then another 2-3 in the summer, and that way he kind of makes his own team like not all together like Michael Beale. So I don't know.
No,
We cannot just think about this window. Like this window is closing, and then the summer comes in, and then there's football to play and to enjoy, and then another window comes in, and then more players come in, another players come out. So this is always, I suppose, the way it is.
David, that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, summer brings a new budget and stuff like that. You mean it gives you a better platform to work from in the transfer market, because like I says, more people are coming to the end of their contracts and stuff like that. But for the here and now, Davey, is there a specific area in the team that you're seeing now that you would like the team to get strengthened in, apart from obviously the obvious, which is a striker?
Well, that's the main ingredient. He keeps scoring the goals. I think the back is well covered. I don't see any of the young guys going out and loan, because that would make it a wee bit more less choice if anybody of them two get three of them get injured. And yeah, you're saying Davis is nobbled, so you need Suter who can be dodgy at times with injuries. So you got to keep the likes of King and a couple of the youngins as cover there. So I would rather see somebody else Wright. He should go to Blackpool or somewhere like that. They do good brow cream down there. So I'm not being disrespectful. I'm not being disrespectful to the boy. But he ain't a Rangers player, guys. I mean, I was screaming at that game on Saturday. I said, "Come on, big Clement, get him off." Sure enough, he's away. I mean, how McCausland never gets started and he's getting him a chance. I know that. I can see he's getting him a chance. But he shouldn't be getting a jersey when he's putting in performances like that. If anybody gets out and loan, it should be him.
I think the thing, Davey, where I agree with Scott, right, it's the one of the annoyances is that every time he seems to get a start, he's great coming off a bench for some reason, especially at Hampden. Like I say, he's done his a turn and go to some cups and all that, but it seems to be every time he gets a start, he never shines, and that's what's going to hinder him. Like, see if that boy would start a game and play a blinder, he would probably get more minutes. But I'll take it around the boys. JM, I'll let you take Scott Wright and what he should do with his future.
Never too old to change a career, are you? He's just never. You're right though. He's never taken an opportunity, has he? He's always done little bits here and there. Came on, scored a couple of goals at Hampden, but he also I don't know if it's just his personality or whatever, or the way he conduct. But he never looks like he's bothered on the pitch either. It never looks like he's hungry to get it. I know we get annoyed at Campbell, but at least he shows a bit of frustration when things aren't going right. So he just doesn't look bothered, the kid, whatsoever, which also annoys me. No, he's had plenty of chances, hasn't he? But if he doesn't go tomorrow, I'm sure by the summer he'll be gone.
I've just seen the background there. Robert's doing a wee dance. Robert, would you like to tell the panel and the listeners how the poll went, mate?
Yeah, so 1.5 million for Shankland was 16%, 3.5 was 6%, a fee plus a player of your choice, 29%, and way in front at 49% is 2.5 million. So it sounds like I'm not a bad negotiator after all, JM.
JM, would you like to reply?
I don't want to offend 49% of the listeners, but I still don't agree.
Wise listeners.
To be fair, in this day and age, Joanna, isn't it 2.5 million for a guy that's scoring goals? I mean, the English League must laugh at us that we are struggling to get to that kind of money. I mean, it's maybe we should be laughing at them, I suppose, because of the way their league's gone. But it's one of the ones, isn't it? 2.5 million, and that's got to change your team. And yet, 2.5 million down south, probably you're a squad player.
I know, for them it's like pennies, I'm guessing. But I do want Shankland, so I think that's a good price. Actually, I think the poll is kind of right in that sense. But how do you think if if Shackland was offered a contract down in England, what would you think they pay for him?
Again, I think it would be the same as the kind of Nisbet thing. I think there would be quite a low fee, and we'd probably look on with amazement that he got sold for so little. David, you agree?
Yeah, I think you're spot on. You look what's happened to him. He's just disappeared, hasn't he?
Yep.
And we were all screaming, oh look, we've missed out the boat. We've not missed out in the boat. You know, I'm more than 110% confident in what we're in a better place now than we've ever been in the last couple of seasons. And that's due to this man. So everybody, the board need to get behind him, which I think they're doing. So I think it'll be an interesting day tomorrow, guys and ladies. Tomorrow, something is definitely going to happen.
You got to be looking at the yellow tie, Davey?
Sorry?
You got to be looking at the yellow tie?
The yellow tie?
for transfer deadline day.
John, don't take the bite. Don't bite. I'll tell you. Don't bite.
Okay.
Take the Fifth Amendment.
Tomorrow, as important. Clement will want to cement things. He'll want to make sure that everything's done and dusted, so he can start to focus on the weekend. I mean, let's face it, the games keep coming, and the team's got to be ready for it.
Yeah, 100%. Because you get them tomorrow, they've got a couple of days to settle if they're already here, and they might be potentially into the squad, or if not, you know, you've got till the next game being the Tuesday night, isn't it? So there's some time, but yeah, be an important day. I'm excited. I think it looks like we're going to at least see one, aren't we? I think it looks like this again. Am I going to go right and say Oscar? He's going to be. It looks like he's in for a medical tomorrow, doesn't he? Or maybe it's already happened. But hopefully we see at least another one, and hopefully the manager's got everything he wanted, because he deserves it. He's earned the right to get the backing.
Here, Robert. I think that's the thing, isn't it? The manager's got a lot of kudos. Again, he's went to a hard place there at the weekend, got as a result, got as a 3 points, keeps the train rolling, and it's important. I think we do well in this transfer window. I think if we get the right players and hit the ground running, then I think we could steamroller this league.
Yeah, you can sit at the end of the season and look back at results and games where you've won points, but tomorrow is, in my opinion, a season-defining day of what business we do. That's incoming and outgoing, but it's exciting because I don't think we've really had a window, whether it be the summer or January, that you're still sitting on the eve or on deadline day, that you're still linked with so many players and you're still looking to fill gaps. So certainly going to be an interesting day, as all Davey says there, and if we get the players in we want, certainly strengthen the squad, and what we've seen from Clement, he's going to hit the ground running with these players, but that's the important thing, is get them in and get them integrated in the squad and get the league business done.
Joanna, do you know something I'm actually looking forward to? See when the window shuts, I'm looking forward to seeing how Clement's signings adjust to Rangers and how that's going to go, because let's face it, this is going to be his signings. As much as in the background, there's other people helping with that and maybe giving their opinion on a player. But I'm interested to see what type of attitude, players and stuff like that Clement brings in, and I really hope it works for him, because as we've seen with our previous manager, there was high hopes for a lot of their signings, and I think in this transfer window, by the looks of it, we're actually getting rid of a lot of them.
It's a different kind of feeling that the signings kind of are bringing, because he has Fabio already, and we haven't seen much of him, but it kind of feels different than Michael Beale signings. So yeah, I'm kind of excited as well to see the players. I think it's going to be better for them to settle. I hope so anyway, because Clement is more straightforward. And do you know what actually impressed me about Clement, and it kind of made me think about it as well, that when he's asking the players the players to do something. He's coming from a place that he knows what he's talking about because he was also a player, so he's also kind of like active in there. So he knows what he wants from the players. So I think it's going to be easier for the new signings to kind of adapt to the team because Clement is in the staff. They know exactly what they're looking for. So.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. Davey, you kind of excited to see what type of players Clement's bringing into the club?
Anything I'll go with anything that guy suggests. And that was my wife Janice come in there just say, "We're funny your yellow tie, so bring it on."
I'm going to have to Google that.
She doesn't know that.
Oh, you make sure you tune into Sky Sports. I don't know if they do it anymore right enough. It was a certain... I'll know say his... I wasn't going to say his name, but he usually kicked about with his yellow tie. I think he doesn't talk sport now, to be fair.
He gave up the yellow tie, put it in the washing and it came out green.
JM and Robert, hopes for the signings, and are you both interested to see how Clement shapes the team?
Yeah, it'll be like I said, we get a couple more, and it'll be interesting to see how quickly he sort of embeds them into the team. If it'll be straight or if he'll manage it like he sort of managed the players coming back from injury. I mean, excuse me, I'm not sure. I know it's only been in the one at the moment. He seems to have been playing, but I'm not sure how often the guys have been playing. Are they coming fit? So all that will be interesting to see. But it's always exciting when you get new players, isn't it? So hopefully we haven't had many for a while, but let's hope we get a couple to hit the ground running.
Yeah.
Robert, you want to add quickly to that, mate?
Yeah, I think obviously they hit the ground running, and it will be good to see how they interact and how it does set up. Obviously, if players don't leave, you've got a big squad to choose from there. So certainly a lot of depth that sounds promising, and hopefully the quality's there as well.
Well said. Right, we're getting to that time of the evening. We've got only a couple of minutes left. Joanna, thank you very much for your call. Much appreciated, and you're always welcome on Rangers Radio.
Thank you. I enjoyed my call today.
Good. Come back on the young team. You're most welcome. Davey, we will present you with a yellow tie since you've joined the young team tonight, and it's been a pleasure, sir.
Okay, it's always he's done a grand job, and I'd just like to thank the techie guys for cutting us off twice.
I'm sure that was that Oxshire in the background.
Oh, I know who it is. Don't you worry, kiddo. I know who it is. Anyway, congratulations for a great show, and keep it up. And as Bridgeman says, let's do it for the Jers. And good night, guys, and God bless the Glasgow Rangers. Good night.
Cheers. JM, Robert, just quickly, boys, just final thoughts, mate.
Yeah, good to be back on, mate, with yourself and JM. Big day tomorrow, so whoever comes in or whoever goes out, let's get behind the team and let's get the 6 months of the season, that league title at the end of it.
JM?
Yeah, good show tonight. Going to have a couple of callers, some great callers and some good points. And yeah, looking forward to seeing what tomorrow brings and the rest of the week.
Brilliant. Right, big thanks to the calls tonight. Albert, Joanna, Old Davey. Big thanks to Ox and the phones. Big thanks to the techie team in the background, Old School Blue and Fox doing the tunes and the polls. This has been Rangers Radio. We'll be back tomorrow night at 8 o'clock speaking about all things Glasgow Rangers. Good night.